Ryan watched his colleague take credit for his project. Again, third time this quarter. Everyone saw it happen. Nobody said anything. He almost sent the email exposing everything. Almost. Instead, he did something that would make his colleague confess publicly within 48 hours. This is forbidden knowledge they don't teach in business school. The kind that gets you promoted or gets you enemies. Maybe both. Once you know this, you'll see manipulation everywhere. And more importantly, you'll know exactly how to flip it. Ryan had a folder labeled evidence. 73 screenshots, 14 email chains, 4 recorded meetings. 6 months ago, his therapist told him, kill them with kindness. That advice nearly destroyed his career. 3 years before that, Ryan's mentor said, just work harder, cream rises to the top. Meanwhile, the credit thief got promoted twice. But soon you'll learn the 4 words that force anyone to reveal their true character. 4 simple words that made a narcissist admit theft in front of 47 witnesses. His father's voice still echoed, don't make waves, keep your head down, be professional. But the solution didn't come from keeping quiet. It came from a principle everyone's too afraid to teach. Never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake, unless you can make them announce it themselves. Ryan had tried everything the right way. Direct conversation, they played victim, HR complaint, no concrete evidence. Being the bigger person, they took bigger credit. Every leadership book preached emotional intelligence, but never explained how to handle emotional manipulation. He was exhausted from smiling in meetings while watching his work get stolen, renamed, and celebrated. If you've ever typed and deleted 10 different responses to someone who wronged you, what comes next will feel like reading your diary. Until Victoria, a retired Fortune 500 CEO, showed him something called the sovereign reversal. Your mistake, she said, isn't that you're too honest. It's that you're honest with dishonest people. Listen carefully. You're not weak for having integrity. You've been playing chess while they're flipping the board. Here's your first permission slip. Your anger isn't toxic. It's information. Your honesty is about to become their confession booth. Victoria leaned forward. Ryan, you think exposing them makes you win. That's amateur hour. Making them expose themselves, that's mastery. She pulled out Machiavelli's The Prince. One page was highlighted. The brilliant warrior wins first, then goes to war. She called it the strategic submission method. You're going to praise their stolen work publicly, but with surgical precision. Ryan's face went pale. Praise them? After what they've done? Not them, your work, through their mouth. Watch. She wrote 4 words on a napkin. Tell me about that. These 4 words will make anyone hang themselves with their own rope. But first, you have to survive the hardest part, letting them think they've won. Monday meeting. James presented Ryan's quarterly analysis as his own, word for word. Impressive methodology, James, the CEO said. James smiled. Thanks, I spent weeks on this framework. Everyone knew. The silence was suffocating. If you've ever sat in a meeting watching someone steal your work while everyone stays silent, you know this exact suffocating feeling. Ryan felt his pulse in his throat. Then he remembered Victoria's words. He smiled, genuinely smiled. James, that's brilliant. Tell me about that framework development process. James's eyes flickered. Oh, well, standard analysis. No, specifically, Ryan continued, still smiling. Walk us through how you built the regression model. James started sweating. The regression? Yeah, the one on slide 17. Tell me about that. The room shifted. The CEO leaned forward. James stammered. I'll circle back on the technical details. Ryan wrote in his notebook. James unable to explain regression model, Monday morning meeting. Here's another permission for you. You're allowed to let liars drown in their own lies. You're not responsible for throwing them a life jacket. And here's your first taste of power. Questions are more powerful than accusations. That night, Ryan implemented Victoria's full system. Step 1, the competence trap. Ask technical questions only you know the answers to. Step 2, the public record. Document their non-answers in follow-up emails, CC'd appropriately. Step 3, the praise paradox. Publicly celebrate their work with specific details they can't explain. Step 4, those 4 sacred words. Tell me about that. Works for every single lie. He mapped James's pattern, claims credit in groups of 5 or more people. Witnesses, but no confrontation. Uses phrases like, my analysis, but never explains methodology. Always circles back on specifics. Never does. Then Ryan found something in Schopenhauer. All truth passes through 3 stages. First, it is ridiculed. Second, it is violently opposed. Third, it is accepted as self-evident. The revelation hit him. James had been performing competence. Ryan would make him perform incompetence, publicly, repeatedly, until the truth became self-evident. Victoria texted him that night. Remember, the goal isn't to expose them, it's to make them expose themselves, publicly, repeatedly, until everyone sees what you see. If you're finding value in this forbidden strategy, hit the like button. It tells me to share more of these dark psychological techniques that actually work in the real world. Tuesday, department presentation, 47 people attending. James presented his budget optimization plan, Ryan's 6-month project. Ryan raised his hand. James, this is revolutionary. Tell me about that 15% cost reduction calculation. James froze. It's complex mathematics. I love complex math. Walk us through it. The CFO perked up. Yes, I'd like to understand this too. James's voice cracked. I'll send the details later. Ryan, innocently. But it's your masterpiece. Tell me about that variable you isolated in column J. Column J? The one that made the whole model work. Your stroke of genius. The room was silent. James was drowning. Here's what you need to understand. Your boundaries aren't mean, they're necessary. Wednesday email from Ryan, CC entire department. James, following up on your brilliant presentation, still eager to learn about that column J variable. When can we discuss? James never responded. Thursday, the CEO called Ryan directly. That budget model, James can't explain it, but you can, can't you? Tell me about that conversation you want to have, Ryan replied. The CEO laughed. I think James has some explaining to do, or rather, he doesn't. This is how you humble them, not by fighting, by letting them fight themselves. If you've ever Googled how to expose a liar at work at 3 in the morning, this is your answer. The costs Ryan paid, and yes, these fears you have are valid. James called him manipulative. Translation, effective. Some colleagues said he was playing games. Translation, winning them. He felt guilty at first. That's conditioning, not conscience. Your sensitivity isn't weakness, it's intelligence. You see what others pretend not to see. But the rewards Ryan earned, this is your future, promoted within 60 days. James transferred departments. Voluntarily. Reputation as someone you can't bullshit. Never had work stolen again. Sleeps without revenge fantasies. Here's Carl Jung's truth bomb. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Ryan made James's incompetence conscious, publicly, repeatedly, until fate changed hands. The strategic, humbling formula. Write this down. Surgical questions over emotional accusations. Public curiosity over private confrontation. Documented confusion over dramatic revelation. Strategic submission before inevitable victory. Victoria's final lesson stuck with him. Humbling someone isn't about making them small, it's about making their real size visible. Now, Ryan teaches others this complete method, the competence test. Ask specific technical questions about their work. Walk me through your process. Explain the methodology. Tell me about that specific detail. The documentation trail. Every non-answer gets a follow-up email, per our conversation, still waiting for following up on that explanation you promised. CC relevant stakeholders naturally. The public praise trap. Celebrate their theft with specifics. Your brilliant solution in section 3. That innovative approach you developed. Make them own what they can't explain. The 4 sacred words. Tell me about that. Works for every lie. Forces elaboration they can't provide. Sounds curious, not confrontational. The witness protocol. Always humble them with audiences. Never one-on-one. The bigger the audience, the deeper the humbling. Let others draw conclusions. The Nietzschean flip. Ask yourself this. What would someone who respects themselves do? Stop protecting their reputation. Start protecting your reality. Let their actions speak louder than your accusations. The Machiavellian shield. Different strategies for different manipulators. For credit stealers, technical questions. For gaslighters, written documentation. For bullies, public curiosity. For narcissists, specific praise they can't explain. Ryan now teaches others. I see you building the case. Here's how to make them present it themselves. Here's your ultimate permission. You're not responsible for protecting liars from their lies. You didn't fail. You were set up to fail. Now you're setting them up to reveal themselves. I know you have a folder of screenshots you've never used. I know you replay conversations where they twisted your words and made you the villain. I know you've searched how to deal with gaslighting at work at 2 in the morning. I know someone is taking credit for your work right now, and everyone knows but says nothing. I know you've been called too sensitive when you had a normal reaction to abnormal behavior. The solution isn't more evidence. It's philosophical warfare. You've been trying to prove the truth. They've been performing lies. You've been playing defense. Time to make them play against themselves. But now you have the script that makes them stumble over their own performance. You already know exactly who needs to be humbled in your life. You already know which project they've stolen. You already know which meeting this will happen in. Your kindness isn't your weakness anymore. It's the rope they'll hang themselves with. The question isn't if you'll use these 4 words. It's how satisfying it will feel when you do. Tell me about that. Watch them crumble. They conditioned you to apologize. We just broke that programming. If this gave you the exact words you've been searching for, comment below which type of manipulator you're dealing with. Credit stealer, gaslighter, or narcissist. I read every comment, and it helps me know which psychological warfare technique to reveal next. Subscribe if you're ready to stop protecting people from the consequences of their own lies. Because next week, I'm revealing what Victoria taught me about making them apologize without ever asking for an apology. The psychological pressure points that make confession inevitable. But first, you have some questions to ask, and they have no answers to give. Your awakening is their nightmare. Your new weapon against every manipulator? 4 simple words. Tell me about that.